Welcome in, everyone. We're going to get started shortly. Thank you so much for joining us for the main event. We are featuring and joined by the amazing Sharon Narbonne. Sharon, how are you? Welcome. Thank you for joining us.
Hey, I'm doing great. Thanks so much for having me. I am so honored that you chose me for this month. I really super appreciate it. Thanks, Farah.
No, it is my pleasure. So we'll just jump in right away. Can you tell me
Sure.
a little bit about the beginning of your journey in real estate? Like when did you first get started and so on and so forth?
Yeah, you got it. So I basically graduated 1985 high school, got a job working for an attorney, and within 2 years was running the real estate portion of his firm and doing real estate closings starting in 1987. So I worked as a real estate paralegal until 2007, believe it or not. So in the meantime, what happened is it's a cute little story. I would be just working at the computer, no makeup, no showered, nothing, like just trying to get through my day. It was crazy. And these brokers would show up for the closings, gorgeous, made up hair, outfit, big gift, smiling. And they got this big fat check. And I said, I can do that. So as I went and took the classes, I realized, oh, wow, this is really hard. And then after I got licensed and began working as a real estate agent, was like, wow, this is like nonstop, and you have to generate everything yourself. This is super, super hard work. And they don't get that big giant check.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah. Yep. So that's where it all started from. But I'm so glad I made the jump.
Oh, wonderful. And it sounds like your history being a paralegal in real estate definitely helped because real estate's super
Yes.
hard to stay in, especially as a new agent. So congratulations on that. So
Thank
can you share
you.
a bit about like your early days in the industry? Like give me some ideas of like some of the big differences between now and then.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So I've been licensed in Mass, New Hampshire since 2004 for a while. And it was always still online. It wasn't like the olden days with the books, but it was basically there was no social media really. There were no smartphones. Everything was working at an office with an old fashioned phone, making cold calls, knocking on doors. And it was petrifying for me because I didn't know what I was doing. And I started with a company that did not train me what to do. They said, just learn as you go. And it was really petrifying compared to now, which we have access to so many people across so many social platforms. And it's just a lot more, you know, it's not easier to be successful, but it's easier to reach people
Yes.
nowadays as it was back then. So, and it's a mobile office now. So you don't sit at a desk for 8 hours and make calls. You're basically on the road, you're on showings, you're at home, you're running to this town, you're running there, you're calling this one. So it's just completely flipped. But I think in
Completely
a good
flipped all
way.
the way around.
Oh, big
Yeah,
time.
absolutely. And I know before everybody joined us, Sharon, Sergio, and I were talking about some of the ways that you connect with other people and clientele is through videos, because we were just talking about that. Can you share a little bit about that as well?
Yes, I would love to. I had our company had run an event with Tom Ferry, and he just brought up, doing these quick videos, which I had done a couple, and then I just started doing them. And I basically don't practice them. I just will go on and I try to make it as quick as possible and amusing, but also share, just a few insights just to stay, in front of people so they know, hey, here I am. This is what I'm doing. This is what I offer. When you need help with anything, please call me. Some of my videos are just like, I just find them hilarious personally. And then on listings, when I have listings, I always have a professional video done. I've been doing that for years, and I write my own scripts. And it's a great way to have someone to see the property from
It
their phone.
is. It is, and I do love that because I think one of the best things about real estate is there's a million different ways to be successful. There's a million different ways to connect with people. And I
Mhm.
love that you have such a big, beautiful personality and
Oh,
you utilize it and you leverage it and you get it on video, and that's amazing.
You're so kind. Thank you so much. That is really thoughtful of you. Of course, I don't see myself like that, but thank you so much.
No,
I
of
appreciate
course.
it.
It's my pleasure. So I
Thanks.
know one of our focuses today was going to be a little bit about being a multi-state
Yes.
realtor. And I think it's such a cool thing because
Thank
Lair is one of the few companies that I know of that you can actually be a thriving multi-state realtor
Yes.
across a couple of different states. So can you tell me about the first time you decided to make the leap into a different market?
Absolutely. So originally I was licensed in Massachusetts. I lived in Massachusetts and I had a good friend in the industry that was a little bit older and had tons of experience and said, you've got to get your New Hampshire license. You're going to be going right there. You're 5 miles from the border. And I said, that's a fantastic idea. So I just went and got it right away. So I was licensed in both states within 6 months. The decision to get my license in Florida, which is about a year and a half now, I'm so excited, was due to the fact that I vacation in Florida and we go to the same place every winter. And we love that area. It's Port Orange, Daytona Beach, New Smyrna Beach. And that was my goal when I was down there because we were looking for a place to buy. And I said, I'm getting licensed here. And that's how I became interested in Florida because I have a personal connection there and family and friends there. The reason why I'm licensed in Rhode Island is when I was going to start the journey to become licensed in Florida, I wanted to look at reciprocal states, Mass and New Hampshire are that.
Mhm.
There's no reciprocal state with
Mhm.
Florida. It's a mutual recognizing. I can't say that word, but so I chose Rhode Island, and that's how I got involved with Rhode Island, and then I was able to go to Florida, even though it was still almost. It was like a full. You have to do everything, all the
Yeah.
classes and electronic fingerprints and everything. I mean, it's just like another world down in Florida.
It is. And I think it's so cool that you participate in all these states. And yes, I can you tell me a little bit what it means to because you mentioned reciprocal states, right? Can you mention for those of us who might not know what it means when two states are reciprocals of each other?
Basically, it means that you can not have to do all of the paperwork to be with another state because they're recognized by the state you're going to. But you still do have to file an application. It's just that there's one piece of it that you don't have to do, which is, I believe, the national law portion of the exam. I didn't have to take in Florida, but I still had to take Florida law. So it's like it gives you a little edge to get into that state a little bit easier if you go with the state that are connected that way.
Oh, I love that. And that's such a cool thing. And I think
Yes.
a lot of the time as realtors, regrettably, we don't typically think outside of our own state. So it's a really
Yeah.
cool eye opener to like even think across state lines that way about states being connected this way in real estate.
Yes,
Okay,
for
so what are
sure.
some of the biggest differences that you see between Florida and New England? And just to preface it, the reason why I'm asking is because it can be really hard to have a very cohesive brand across states. And
Mhm.
obviously, the way we interact with people in different regions is different. So, what are some of the big differences for you?
So basically, in Florida, they have tons and tons and tons of steps that you need to take in order to get licensed, and also tons of continuing ed compared to Massachusetts, although Massachusetts has tons of continuing ed as well. Florida is is more difficult. Their MLS system is very complicated and they truly care to keep the safety of the public there. I believe Massachusetts and New Hampshire do also. But Florida, for some reason, is such a massive state that there's so many more things that you have to go
Yes.
through in order to even be licensed. But the good news is that once I became licensed, the agents that I have worked with and come across and spoken with have been absolutely fantastic, and they truly care about people. Florida for me, when I first newly was licensed, just calling an agent on a property and then continuing to discuss, "Hey, I'm newly licensed," and really just giving me such a background in their own life and in that Florida area, what was going on. And I just find it so endearing down there. I truly love it down there. It makes me want to move down there forever.
Yeah.
But I'm not, like
You
all year
should.
long, but
You
I'm not.
should.
I know, right? So Florida is very interesting, and also they do a lot of specific things. I noticed that when I want to show a property, many of them are accompanied showings only, and the agent is
Mhm.
very, very much, personally as well as, business-wise, they are connected to their client and really care about showing the property in the best light, and not that I mean, up here they do too. It's just that down there I've come across like, "Oh, I'll meet you there, I'll meet you there, I'll meet you there," and it's like, "Wow."
Yeah.
Every single showing. So
Yeah.
I think that's fantastic. I think it's nice.
I love that. I love
Yeah.
it. And then,
Yes.
so how do you, so you're based in, are you based in Mass right now?
I am, yes. I'm based out of the Dracut office. I'm born and
So
raised
how,
Dracut.
yeah.
Yeah.
How do you maintain strong client relationships with everybody in all states? Because now you have
Right,
a presence in all of these states. How are you
right.
managing, maintaining connections across borders?
Yeah, so even in my videos and stuff, I'll mention it, but also on my social media, it states it. And then also I do stay in touch with people. And it's almost as though I use like a process called send out cards, and I stay in touch with people that live Massachusetts, New Hampshire, Rhode Island, Florida. So anytime someone is celebrating something special, I love to send them a card. And if it's something, big or any type of, wow, like I send them brownies, and I think that that has, people see me like, wow, she's everywhere. Like
Yeah.
she sent me this and I'm in Florida. She sent me this and I'm in the White Mountains in New Hampshire. She can go anywhere. And I think that that send out cards has really, really helped me in my business. And it helps me stay in contact with people, which I absolutely love. And I think it
I
just
love
shows
that.
that I can be everywhere. Can I?
Yes.
Sort of.
You can. No, and
Yes.
I love it because it seems like you have systemized staying in
Yes.
contact with people and it makes it easier to do so.
Yes, and that's a big part of my business, that I do stay in contact with people and I do have systems in place. And I do, I do have my top producer marketing software, and basically I do everybody gets their annual calendar magnet, they get their Christmas card. I love Christmas cards. And then everybody also gets a Red Sox baseball calendar. Anyone
Ah,
and everyone. Yes, I just love the Red Sox. So I'm doing all those things too, which you want to be sending that. And the other thing is, a lot of times, like every time actually when I have a closing, what I do is I send my client up on a program where they are receiving magazines and recipes and all kinds of things for years and years and years. And I like to just thank them for their business with this.
yeah,
And
no,
it's
and
not
I
anything
love it.
asking for business. It's like a magazine. It's about springtime. It's about planting flowers. It's about, preparing your home for the winter season, etc. I just want to always give back to people any way
I
I
love
can,
that.
really.
And I love that. And it
Mm.
sounds like we said, it's the systemization of reaching out that way. But the cool thing about it is it doesn't diminish like the level of engagement, right? Because
Yeah.
even though it's systemized and you're doing it for everyone
Yeah.
receiving it is still receiving that like very personal touch and engagement. I love that. I love the
Yeah.
Red Sox calendar too. Just
Yeah.
so you know, my son plays baseball and the current team he's on is the Red Sox.
I love it. How old is your son?
He is 12. He's a
Oh,
little
you're so
guy.
lucky. Bring me back to those days. That's precious. The
I
Red
know. It's
Sox.
so fun. So you said Red Sox, and I was like, they have a game
Oh.
tonight, don't they?
Oh my
So
gosh,
it's
and
so
what's his
good.
name? I'll root for him in my head.
Oh, his name is Idris, like Idris Elba, like the
E
actor Idris.
Oh, I love that actor. Yes,
Yeah.
Edith. All
Yeah.
right, go. Let's go. Let's win.
I
Edith.
love it. I love
Edith.
it. So,
Terrible.
what do you think your toughest parts of like expanding into new markets has really been? Like, what have been some
Yeah.
hurdles that you've experienced?
It is time. Is there enough
Hmm.
time? So working on my time management is huge. Another thing with going to different markets and states is learning the continuing ed, getting it done, taking the classes, learning about it. That's a lot. The other thing too is be aware it's an investment. Be ready to spend lots and lots and lots of money if you want to become licensed in other states. They're always looking for more money. So the money and the continue ed and finding the time to keep up
Yeah.
with that, you want to keep up with that. It's the biggest thing.
I love that. And I think you touched on something that's near and dear to my heart. Time management is a huge piece of success. What tools? I
Mhm.
know we weren't delving this way, but what tools do you utilize
Right.
to manage your time? Because that's always awesome.
This is yeah, this wasn't one of the things I talk about, but it's really actually super important and I've been doing it for almost 2 years now. And it really is a morning ritual, okay? So every morning I
Hmm.
get up a certain time. I do the same things. I make a green vegetable shake, right? I get my
Yeah.
coffee, I sit down, I write my 5 blessings, I write my 5 affirmations, right? And I write 8 critical tasks. Now, I always have about 30 tasks, but I just put
Right.
8, write it down, and then I read 10 pages of the book that I'm reading. And I love reading. I read every single morning. Right now, I'm reading a Tony Robbins financial book because I want to understand stocks and I don't.
Yeah.
So I think, and that sets my tone for the day and gets
Yes.
me going. And other than that, I mean, I've got my obviously the online calendar. I'm checking 10 times a day, and I have a
Yeah.
handwritten calendar as well. I'm still old school, so I do have my big calendar book that I carry around with me.
I love that. And I love that you've ritualized it and that the
Yes.
ritual at the center is about you and starting your day the right way. That's so lovely to hear. And I'm sure it's such a difference from when you didn't do that.
It's unbelievable. You're grounded. You start the day grounded. And I do exercise too. I forgot that one. I do some sort of exercise and then boop, my day takes off. And at least like I'm grounded.
I love that. That sounds amazing.
You
So,
have to do it.
yeah. No, I do the same thing. In the morning, I
I
typically
figured.
start my entire morning by, it's a little bit different, but
Yep.
the core things are the ritualization of doing the same thing every single morning and having a list and starting that way, which I love. So,
Mhm.
how has working across different states really changed like your overall business strategy? You talked about time management. Are there any other things you've had to employ now that you work in multiple states?
I mean, the thing is you have to learn what the markets are. So where the MLS system in Florida, they have all different MLS systems. So I'm, I'm on several different MLS. I'm on Stella, I'm on Broward County, I'm Beaches, Daytona, New Smyrna. Uh, and basically I check the hot sheets. So an important thing to do, and that's Mass, New Hampshire, obviously. I check the hot sheets every day. So I can see what's coming on, and then I see what's going under contract within days on market and then what it's selling for. So just being able to do that virtually, if I'm not physically in that state at that day, I'm able to, wage the market. So if I get somebody that wants to sell something in Florida, but it's not where I'm located, I have referral sources set up down there for different parts of Florida too. So I do that for New Hampshire as well. Some parts of New Hampshire are 3 hours away from me, and I have
Yeah.
referral search. So referral is a big deal to me.
And I love that. And it seems like you've not only been able to systemize your outreach to your clients, but also your reach across states and how you manage it and who you connect with. Hey, I love it. You got everything down pat. That's awesome. I'm very
Well,
proud.
hey, do my best. I love what I do. When you love what you do, it's a little bit easier, I think, right?
Yes, agreed. I love what I do, and I hear you. You work harder and you put more effort and you're obsessed with it. So that's awesome.
Right?
What advice do you give to other agents considering getting licensed in another state?
I mean, I say go for it. Just be prepared for the financial investment you're going to make. Yep, the financial investment, and just be prepared. It's going to be on top of your other continuing ed that you have to do for your present license, right?
Yeah,
And you're going to have to just learn those markets and maybe do some research, before you even apply and see if it's going to be something that's going to be financially, advantageous for you. You may be better off referring something instead of getting your license. But I like being licensed because then you can I mean, to me, it's important to be able to say I'm a realtor in Florida, New Hampshire,
Right.
Mass, Rhode Island. It's important.
Yes. It's also a point of marketing, right? To not just say, I
Yes.
know an agent in that area. I am an agent in that area as
Correct.
well.
Yes, and so when we're away in those different states and everything, I mean, if I end up talking to people, I always talk about where I'm licensed. And it's always
Hmm.
important. People like, oh, wow, you're licensed in Mass, New Hampshire, Rhode Island, and down here too. That's amazing. And I think that, if they go home and have a party the next day and somebody, is like, oh, we're thinking of buying a place in New Hampshire, they might think of me, and I'll give them
Yes.
a card, or if I have my calendars on me, I'll give them a calendar, whatever I have, So it's kinda like it's great to be able to say that. I feel proud to be able to say that, to be honest with you. I feel proud, like, it's nice.
Absolutely. As you should be. I mean,
Thanks.
it's an amazing feat, and the fact that you've got everything so organized
Mhm.
helps a great deal. The other thing I wanted to touch on, I know we touched on it lightly in the beginning, but I
Mm.
know your videos are so awesome. How have they helped you connect with everyone too? I mean, I think they have to have, especially with your social media presence as well.
Yeah, oh my gosh. I mean, basically, they've gotten me listings. I mean, they've gotten me oh, yeah, and buyer clients. I've had people reach out to me and say, "I chose you because I love your videos on Facebook and I love your energy." And
Yes.
I hadn't talked to this person in 40 years. And it was because of that video and different videos that they've seen. It wasn't just like, "Oh, I saw your real estate listing video and the house looks great. Can you take a video?" It was like about like what they're going to get, because yes, of course I'm going to market their house to the best with a video, but I'm also out there in the world talking to people about your property too. And I'm going to have a relationship with you. We're going to have fun as much as we can,
Oh, yes.
in the good times and in the bad times. I'm going to be there for you. So it just kind of shows them what they're choosing. They're choosing a relationship, not just
I love
somebody to, sign the docs and sell their house.
Of course, and not everybody can pull that off, honestly, because a lot of agents do videos, but you have such a great character and it comes through. It's just
Oh my
awesome and it
gosh.
makes all the difference. I
Oh my
can
goodness.
definitely imagine somebody reaching out
Thank
to you
you.
like, I want her, I want that realtor.
Oh, you're so sweet. Thank you so much. Yes, and that did happen more than once. So it is very interesting,
I love
because
it.
yeah, thank you. It's just fun.
Do you see yourself expanding to any other states?
Well, here's the thing, right? So I was thinking about that, and I always wanted to be licensed in Maine because I love York Beach. So it would be like Southern Maine. I'd love to be licensed in Maine. And actually, I am looking into getting licensed in the Carolinas, South Carolina and North Carolina.
I
So thanks for that
love it.
question. I've been thinking about it. So it's kind of funny.
It is.
I
Do
don't
you
know if I'm
travel
going
to
to
the
do it.
Carolinas very often?
Oh my gosh, so many people are moving to the Carolinas.
Really? I didn't realize
Yes.
that.
Yes, because in Florida, there's been a lot of movement recently over the past year and a half or so because of all the problems with the hurricanes. And
Yes.
the Carolinas are more of a safety town. So I'm actually seeing people, move there. And I said, boy, I better go get my license there.
I love it. I love it. That's
Yes.
awesome. I don't know
Yes.
if it's possible for there to be
Right.
like a Guinness World Record book level of how many states you can be in,
Right. Right.
but
I
you're
know.
quickly approaching it, I'm sure. That's
Oh,
awesome.
I mean, we'll see if I can do it. I mean, it's a lot, so
Yes.
there's a lot involved, but I am looking into it because I do see the people moving to the Carolinas. The main thing is more of a dream of mine. I don't know if I'm gonna do the
Hmm.
main thing when I can just refer, a client to Maine. Uh,
Yeah.
However, that's always been a dream of mine, but the Carolinas are like a real business addition that I have been thinking about.
I love that. I think that's awesome. Well, I wish
Yeah.
you all the luck in the world.
Thank you.
You're
Thank you,
very,
Sarah.
very, very welcome. The last thing I wanted to ask you about, I know you also are a huge proponent of doing events. How do
Yes.
you go about doing events? How does that play into different states? Share.
Oh my gosh. So basically, I do like a Thanksgiving event where I do a pie giveaway. And, I go pick up all the pies myself, I make everything myself, everybody gets an invite, they get I'm texting them, I'm calling them, I'm a haunt, and I'm like, "Who
Yeah.
wants a pie?" And I love it because the people that actually show up and get the pie, I just love that connection. It's
Yes.
so huge to me, and it just gives me
Yes.
so much energy. You know what I mean? So when you're planning it, it's like, "Oh my gosh, I have this blah, blah," and you're so nervous, like, getting everything organized, and then the day comes, and you're like, "That was amazing." Like, it just fills my soul, you know?
Oh,
It does, and I just had my annual ice cream event, and it was pouring rain, so I did a video. I'm like, "Well, it's typical, it's pouring rain," and, came to the office, got everything set up. I had an ice cream truck, free ice cream for anybody, and I put it out to the public. I'm like, "Come by and get an ice cream," people drive by, and
yeah.
I love it, people showed up. It stopped raining for 1 hour. I couldn't even believe it. It started raining when I drove out after we cleaned everything up, and I'm like, so, yeah,
Yeah.
but I love it, I do giveaways, and I always do, like, a raffle for something. It usually ends up being, like, scratch ticket basket type of thing because, people like that, and, I just love it. People show up, they really seem to enjoy it. Some people end up talking to other people, and I think it's just a great way. My goal is to have 3 events a year. My goal is to have 3 events, and in Florida, I do plan to have an event in Florida too. So, yeah, coming this next winter, I'll be doing something in Florida. So I'll be doing my first Florida event. So I look forward
I
to that.
love it. Let us
Yeah.
know when you come on down and,
Oh my gosh.
try
I
to get
will. I'm
some
gonna
of your,
call you. Yes,
yeah.
I
Yeah.
will. You have to come
I,
up to where you have to come to the event. You'll have to come to the event.
I
It'll
love
be
it.
awesome.
Definitely. Well, it was so great chatting with you, Sharon. I had the biggest smile on my face the entire time because you're so
Oh,
enjoyable to listen to.
thank you. Thank
Thank
you.
you so
So kind
much
of
for
you.
joining
Thank
us.
you. Thank you. It was an honor. I really appreciate it. I
All
hope you have a
right.
wonderful day and thank you again.
No, I hope you have a great day. All right, everyone. Thank you for joining and have a wonderful day. Bye.
Bye, everyone.